Yo, what's up guys, it's Tommy Nutter, and today on Mix Tips we talk about the relationship between kick and bass and how you as a producer can make sure that that kick punches through every time and that bass is heard, even on little speakers. So come on, let's check it out. So last night we did the Beat Critique show. We had two amazing producers, Ben Hamlin Beats and Reach Beyond Reach. They both sent in beats for me to review and give a bit of critique. And one of the producers, Ben Hamlin Beats, he submitted a track that he said he was having a little bit of trouble with the kick coming through, and you could hear it. The kick didn't really punch through. There was no solid thud to it, and it was all being overshadowed by the bass or the 808 sub bass. So Ben writes, "Cheers, the feedback is much appreciated. Definitely agree about the kick. Always difficult to balance that 808 out with the kick while keeping everything nice and clean." He goes on to say he actually did add a thuddy kick under the break sample in there. I guess my trying to get the mix clean and non-muddy squashed it away. Any tips for getting that thud without the mud? Well Ben, you're in luck. I have got some tips coming right up. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe now, hit that notification bell. And if you want your beat featured on Beat Critiques, be sure to send me a link. You can reach me at info@ITSTOMMYNUTTER.com, or you can leave a link on any of my comment sections. Alright guys, so what I've done is set up a little beat here in FL Studio. We'll pretend this is our whole beat for now, but it's a kick, snare, hi-hat, melody loop, and we've got our sub bass 808 in. Now what I've done here is, I'll play it for you in a second, but I've already adjusted all the levels to where they need to be. We can see now that when I press the play button, the levels are going to be hitting -6 in the master column, which is the right amount of headroom you need to send that off to a mastering engineer. So let's press play now. You'll notice that our sub bass isn't going over -24. Our kick's just hitting -9 and up. Now, this already sounds like a decent enough mix, but the problems with it at the moment are that if you were to listen to that mix on, say, your phone speaker or a laptop speaker, there's no way that you'd hear that 808 bass, because the low frequencies are too low for the speakers to represent. So we've got to find some way of making that bass louder for a start without adding headroom that's going to drive our total output of the main out up. We also want that kick to punch through and be a little more have a bit of punch to it, and we also need that bass to stop being so wimpy in the background and have a boom to it. All the time we want to maintain that -6 headroom so that we can send it off to a mastering engineer or do our own mastering. So let's go back to this window. What I'm going to suggest first of all is the balance between the kick and bass. That's a perfectly fine balance up to now, but we need to add, like I said before, more bass into it. So what I've done here is set up a channel as an effect channel, and we're going to send our sub bass to that. Now that effects channel has got two things on it. It's got an EQ set with a little bit of bass cut out of it, and it's got hardcore plugin with only the distortion knob turned up, and we're going to send some of our sub bass to that. We'll put just we'll put just the hardcore on for now. So let's send it there now. Okay, so it's sounding louder, right? But you'll notice that the master level has also been driven up. That's now too loud. So what we need to do is balance this. Now, because this sub bass contains all the sub frequencies that we need, this one doesn't have to. So we can cut those sub frequencies out. All this effect is doing, all this channel is doing, is taking those mid frequencies, saturating those, so that we get a representation of that low frequency bass, but in a frequency range where those small speakers like laptop speakers and earbuds can recreate it. So we're going to cut those low frequencies out of that one, and it doesn't really change the sound of it, but it changes the headroom level. Okay, we're still louder. Let's check our headroom. There we go, we're back below -6 now. The other thing that you can do now is balance these two out. So let's say that you felt like you needed a little bit more of that sound, but you didn't want to crank up this anymore. So you could add a little more. And you could take a little more of this. That's like the weight behind this though. We're still at 6, we can add a little bit more weight. Okay, that seems perfectly fine. Now, the next thing is we want our kick to punch through that. Our kick, right at the minute, it seems like it's within that bass, but it's not really acting as a punch through the bass. So let's add some stuff to it. What I want to do first of all is we're going to do something called sidechaining. And what sidechaining is using a signal from another source to control a plugin or a compressor on the source that you're sidechaining. So on our sub bass here, we've got a fruity limiter, and this is set up as a compressor. I'll go into the settings in a second. But what we've done is we're going to send our kick to this. That means that it's set up a sidechain into this fruity limiter. We're going to select it by choosing one there. Now, we'll put the threshold back where it was. What I'm going to do is turn the ratio up a little. We'll get 0 attack, 0 release, and we'll just play it through and see what happens. Okay, at the moment it's not doing any compressing. If we bring that threshold down, bring it to where it's touching. Okay, at that moment, every time the kick hits, the bass is being compressed out of the way. So that should have taken some of our headroom away. Let's take a look at our master now. Oh no, we're below -6. We've gained a little headroom, which means we have two options here. We can turn our kick up because we've saved some of that headroom, and now it's punching through a little bit too much. Okay, so now we're at a happy level. The other thing we can do is we can increase the punchiness of that kick by taking out the unnecessary frequencies. So now what I'm going to do is cut a little bit out of this bass frequency. It's only a tiny bit, but that's how much difference it makes. Okay, you've got all the mud there. Let's cut the mud. It tightens it right up. Same thing with the kick. We're going to cut some out of the kick as well. Those low frequencies, you can hardly hear them, so why bother? There you go. That's working together nice now. Let's check our headroom. I'm going to bring that kick down a little bit. Make sure it's still punchy. Okay, the very last thing that we can do is add a little more punch to that kick by adding some 7K into it. So if we go to our EQR and we take our kick and we want to look for a frequency that's going to click. Now I'm suggesting around 7K. There we go. I like that. That's added quite a bit of extra kick. This is before. Still sounds a little flat. There you go. Now it's hitting you in the face. So the very last thing to do is put everything into context. Let's bring our other elements back into the mix now. And we'll check our headroom. We're still a little high. That sub feels like it could have a bit more of a pop. So let's send a little more. Okay. Check our headroom. Still a little high. Let's turn our kick down a little. Great, so that kick and that bass are working together really well now. And the last thing that we want to do is just add back in our mastering plugins. So for the mix buzz, we've got a compression ratio of 2:1, and we're getting about 4 dB of gain reduction. So that's the mix buzz compressor that's holding everything together before you start the mastering process. And in FL Studio, the mastering's done straight on the master channel, unfortunately. So let's add in our mastering maximizer now. So that kick and bass are working together really well. Everything's being heard. If you were to listen to this on smaller speakers, the 808 would be standing out because it's saturated up in the higher mids. It's working as a mix altogether. It's got some punch, some bounce to it. The last thing I want to do is just check everything out without the plugins on so you can see an A/B of before and after. This is before. And both of those are at exactly the same volume. So now you can hear how much power you've got just by EQing or compressing. It's magic, it really is. If you need any more tips, if you want to get your beat submitted to Beat Critique, and if you want any help on it, or if you've just got any questions about mixing in general, hit me up. I'm always happy to help, and I'd love to get some more ideas for the videos that you guys want to see. So Ben, I hope that helps you out with trying to recreate the relationship between kick and bass. I hope this helps anyone who's struggling with that as well. I was struggling with a lot at first. It's one of the major things that held me back for the longest time, getting my beats to sound right and my mixes to sound right. And it's a pretty difficult thing to get your head around as well, especially in an age where so much of our mainstream music is driven by that sub bass and that 808. So thanks for tuning in. If you've not seen it already, go back and watch the beat critique from last night. If you want a free sound kit, go to ITSTOMMYNUTTER.beatstars.com and click sound kits. There's a free Black Panther type sound kit on there that you can download. And if you'd like to be featured in the Beat Critique show, you can leave me a link below or email me info@ITSTOMMYNUTTER.com. If you want any mixing and mastering done, get in touch. I've got great deals on Fiverr where you can get heavily discounted services. If you're a BeatStars member, come by and say hello. Maybe we can do a collab or something. And if you've got any ideas for things that you want to see, any questions or any trouble that you're having with mixing or any mix tips that you need, get in touch. All I want to do is help you guys. So make sure you have a great week. Keep writing, keep mixing, keep on keeping on. Peace. Why did I just do a salute? I never salute.